welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I actually wanted to film a video a little bit different than makeup and beauty. I wanted to film a video about college. So I am a college student, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know. If you guys are in college or if you've been through college, you know college is so hard. It's just so hard. It's so time consuming, so much stress. If you don't go about it the right way, you're going to make it 10 times harder for yourself. So I wanted to sit down and I came up with 10 tips to help you be more successful in college. I have been in college for 3 years now, and so this is some of the stuff that I've learned that I do to make it a little bit easier, because it's one of those things that even if you can just make one thing a little bit easier, that can make a big difference. I really hope this video can help some of you guys. I was like, this is kind of like a weird time. I was like, I kind of should have done this like in the beginning of the semester, but we all know it's at that point of the semester, if you haven't had a breakdown, you know, one's emerging, one's coming soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to hear my tips and tricks for college, then just keep on watching. Okay, so during this video, I want you guys to understand that this is everything that's worked for me and that has helped me, and may not work for you, or you may have to take a little bit of it and switch it up, make it your own, that kind of thing. It's not like a set guide, like this is going to work for everyone. That's just not how it is. I will say that this stuff has helped me. I mean, I was that person, okay, let me give you a little background story. In high school, my last like 9 weeks of high school, I got a 3.9 because I really got myself together. But before that, I'd never gotten above a 3.0. I've never actually gotten a 3.0 in high school besides my last 9 weeks. And I think my cumulative GPA when I graduated high school was like a 2.8, 2.9. So yeah, high school, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I wasn't studying the right way. You can study for hours, and if you're not studying the right way, or if you're not doing the right things, then you're going to make it a lot harder on yourself, and you may not even be able to do that great on it if you're not doing it the right way. Okay, so I made a little list on my phone of, I was laying in bed last night thinking of everything. Tip number 1 is to go to class. Now I know that's in everyone's tip videos, you're like, duh. But honestly, going to class in college is so important. In high school, if I was sick or if I didn't feel good, I wouldn't go. You know what I mean? I would stay home. But in college, I can be like almost on my deathbed. Unless I'm really sick or contagious, then I won't go because I don't want to get other people sick. But if I feel horrible, like even like this week, like I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm just getting over being sick. I felt, oh my gosh, I was so achy, I could barely get out of bed, and I still got up and I still went to class because there isn't any way I'm missing all that information. Even if your professor puts the slides online, first of all, I tried this once, I'm like, I don't need to go to class. Everything's on, the entire lecture is online. If you're not going to class, chances are you're not going to, I mean, you may, if good for you if you do this, you may not, have to go to class if your lecture's online, but I'd be like, I'll just look at the lecture slides. Did I look at the lecture slides? No, not until I had to study for the exam. Do not do that. I learned that, I think, my first semester of college. Even if the lectures are online and you still don't retain the information as well. Like when I have a business law class and the entire lecture is online, like I don't have to go, he doesn't take attendance, but if I miss a class, I just don't understand the information as well. I can read all of these big words, but he's not there explaining it and how they fit and how everything kind of connects together. So going to class is super important, so definitely go to class. So tip number 2 is to have a planner. Having a planner and actually using it. You can have a planner, but you have to actually use it in order for it to work in college is so essential. It helps me so much. So this is my planner. It was super cute, and then my rabbit Lola got to it. Now I'm not even saying I don't need a planner, but I can remember stuff. Like I can remember everything I have to do Monday, everything I have to do Tuesday, but chances are there could be a time where, guess what, I forget. Oh my gosh, I forgot about a quiz. And in college, you don't have that many grades in a grade book, so if you forget about a quiz, that can bring your grade down to, I mean, even if you get 100% on everything else, if you miss one quiz or if you forgot about it and you fail it or do really bad, you could end up having a B or a C in the class just because you forgot that one quiz. And so college is one of those things where you want to do everything you can to make everything easier. Like college is already so stressful, so writing everything down is just one less thing you have to stress about. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Tip number 3 is to not go home, go back to your apartment, or go back to your dorm in between your classes. So this is a tip that really helps me stay ahead or stay on top of my schoolwork. So in between classes, I usually have about an hour. Usually in college, I usually have about an hour to 3 hours in between classes. And if I go home, I'm sleeping. I don't care if I think I'm sleeping, if I tell myself I'm not gonna go to sleep. As soon as I get home and I see my bed, I'm gonna take a 30-minute nap and then work on homework. I'm not getting out of bed until 15 minutes before I have to leave for class. So now what I do is I get some coffee, I sit in the coffee shop, and I work on my schoolwork. Even if I don't have any homework, I may review my notes from the last class, rewrite them if they're messy. I may look ahead, do my homework for next week, because guess what? Then you're ahead. And it really helps when you're doing schoolwork in between your classes, because then when you get done with your classes for the day, you don't have any schoolwork to do, or you may have a lot less that you have to do. Unless you have a dog that you need to let out or something, then you should probably go home. But besides that, stay out. It'll really help you get so much more work done. So tip number 4 is to spread the workload out. My mom was the one who told me to do this, and it really does help me so much. So I know whenever I get a study guide or homework to do, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is 8 hours of homework. And I'm like, I'm gonna be sitting there from noon to almost 8 o'clock at night. My entire day is gonna be homework. But what I do now is before I go to bed, because it's not due the next day. It's usually due like the day after, like in 2 days or sometimes 4 days if the weekend's, in there. But what I'll do is I'll do like a problem or two before I go to bed, or in between classes, I may do another problem or two, spend 30 minutes to an hour here and there, and guess what? Before you know it, you have your homework done or almost done. So then that way, the day before it's due, or the day it is due, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but before the class, when you sit down to really finish it up, you only have about an hour or even maybe an hour or two left to do rather than 8 hours. Okay, so I guess these tips kind of go hand in hand, but tip number 5 is to study ahead of time. This kind of goes with spreading the workload out. I know so many people that study like a day or two before the exam, and they are cramming, they're up all night, they stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you lose sleep and you're tired, and it's a cycle. So like I said, it's kind of the same tip to spread the workload out, but I study for my exams 5 days to a week in advance, just kind of easing myself into the exam. Usually for an exam, I study about, it depends on the subject. Like for accounting, like I may study like 4 to 5 hours for, but then other subjects that I sometimes need to study 12 to 15 hours for, which is a lot. But it does. I usually end up getting an A on all my exams, so the work pays off, and it feels so good that you put in that much time and work and then you got a good grade. Okay, so tip number 6 is to study in groups. Now, studying in groups can be really good or really bad. I've had really good groups and really bad groups. Last semester, there was 4 of us in a group for business, and we just killed it. Honestly, we all became really good friends. We go out to dinner together. And we would study together, and we all did so good. We all aced the classes that we were in together. We would break up the material, do parts of the study guide, then someone else would do parts of the study guide, and then we kind of teach each other, and that's the most effective way to study in groups. But this semester, I've also been in a group where people just wait for you to find the answers, and then they just want you to give them all the answers, and that is the most frustrating thing ever. So do not be that person to not put in your part of the work and then just be like, hey, did you find the answer for this? Or can you send me a picture of this part of your study guide? It's like, people realize that. Studying in groups can really help you. Like I said, you can teach each other, but make sure it's a really good group, not just a group that other people are just trying to get answers from you. Okay, so tip number 7 is to record your lectures. So I only do this for certain classes. I actually just started doing this semester, and it has extremely helped me in one of my classes. So I am in a history class, and my professor this is the first time that this has ever happened, but he doesn't use a PowerPoint, and he just stands up there and talks and talks and talks and talks. And we don't have a book or anything, so it's like if you miss something, if you aren't paying attention, or if you're writing slow and you miss something, you may not get the information. So that's like one of the classes where I said make sure you go to class. There isn't any way I'm missing one of those classes. So what I'll do is I'll take notes on it, and then as I'm taking my notes, like if he's talking about a certain subject, I will look at my voice memo recorder, and let's say it's on 19 minutes, I'll write 19 minutes next to that subject in my notes, whatever he's talking about. So that way if I need something re-explained, or what did he say, or if I missed something, I can look, oh, I learned this at 19 minutes, I'll go back and listen to my lecture, and I can re-get that lecture again. But if I miss it, I miss it. So I make sure to record everything on there. Tip number 8 is to not schedule your classes all on the same days. Now this semester I did do that because I didn't have any choice. Sometimes you don't have any options. Like all my classes just happen to be on the same days that I could take them. So I'm in class from like 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. a few days a week, and it is a long day. But the reason why I say don't do this is because you have all your classes on the same day, so guess what? All your exams are going to be on the same day. And so it's really stressful when you have not 1, not 2, but maybe 3 exams on the same day. It gets, it's so overwhelming. You're like, what do I study for? It's all mixing together. And so it gets really overwhelming. But if they're like on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's still a lot in 1 week, but you still have, a break in between your exams. You still have a day rather than an hour or 2 in between your exams. Tip number 9 I have is don't schedule 8 a.m. So sometimes, like I said, same thing with don't schedule your classes all on one day. Sometimes you don't have an option. Sometimes that class is only available at 8 a.m. or sometimes the other times, clash with your other classes that you have. So sometimes you have to take 8 a.m.s. I have an 8 a.m. this semester. I've had 8 a.m.s before, but it is so nice when you don't have 8 a.m.s because honestly, unless you're a morning person, 8 a.m.s it's like you get up, but you have to get up at 7. You get to your class at 8, you're still half asleep. You're not in the mood to sit there and listen to an hour or 2-hour lecture, taking notes the entire time. It's just, you just don't want to. It's too early. If you can avoid it, I'm like 9:30 classes, like around that time is like perfect timing. You get to sleep in, you can wake up at 8 or 8:30. It still gets you up early for the day, but you're still more awake. You still have time to just wake up. And finally, the last tip to be successful in college that I have is to take time for yourself. And honestly, taking time for yourself can sometimes be such a hard thing to do because if I'm laying in bed watching YouTube videos or I'm just relaxing, I'm like, I should be studying. Like, I have so much to do mentally and physically. It's so good for you to take time for yourself, even if it's only 30 minutes to an hour a day. And honestly, just even if it's 30 minutes to an hour away from your schoolwork or just taking that time out of your day will really help you focus more and do better in school. So that is all the tips that I have for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that some of these tips can help some of you guys in college or even in high school or whatever you're doing. I hope that you guys can take something away from this video. If you guys have any tips for college that I didn't mention or that really help you, then leave them down below because we're just all trying to help each other out. We're all trying to make it through college together, and I know if you guys have any tips, I would love to know what they are, and I could probably use them, and I'm sure a lot of other people could use them as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!